Good morning. Welcome to our morning show.
Yes.
Today will be everything about friendship. And my name is Clementine Tsvetanov.
And my name is Krasimir Tsvetanov. Sorry, I'm like this.
So, my love, which guest we have today?
My love, all the time I have to say which guest we have. All the time I have to take you out from all this. All the time.
Yes.
Guys, everything she have belonged to me. Because of me. The guests, do I shout too much? Maybe because they're too far away. The guests we have tonight, today, sorry, I went to bed 3:30. The guests we have today, they're from, I'm not going to tell you from where, most probably they will tell you from where they're coming. It's Pat and George, and today we're going to talk about friends. But, you know, I never met someone who doesn't like the movie Friends. And this is because I think we need more love. Actually, we want more love. We want more friends. Especially me, I want more friends, honestly. No matter how many I have, I want more. But sometimes it doesn't happen like what we want in life. And that's why we choose this topic, friends. So we are happy to bring Pat and George today, and we're going to talk exactly for this. Please don't forget to comment in the chat if you have a question, because this is, honestly, for me, it's a very important topic. And also you can say, well, hello, from where do you come from where you watch us, because it's a pleasure to be with you today here. Hello.
Krasimir. Good morning.
Good morning.
So
Good
first,
morning.
let me start by saying that I wasn't a Friend fan. So many people have tried over the years.
I tried.
Well, not really. We haven't.
A little bit.
Yeah. So I'm not really much of a Friends fan, but I'm warming up to it, let's say. So good morning. We hope you're all well and you're having a great, beautiful, sunny day.
We could really use a dip in that pool right now.
Yeah, it's
come
very
and
hot
join
over
us.
there.
Thank you for choosing today's topic.
It's
Yeah,
very
it's
light,
amazing
very
topic.
refreshing.
Yes.
Yeah. Who doesn't want, as you were saying, Krasimir, who doesn't want or need or...
I think it's to compensate for like the talk on divorce that we had 2 weeks ago.
So, George, what is a real friend? How would you define a real friend? What do they do? What do they say? What they don't do? What they don't say?
Thank you for the question. So, friends differ from people to people, depending on the values each has, depending on the things in common. So basically, in my opinion, it's very important that friends help each other grow. If a friendship is real and authentic and the really true friendship, not the one that like you met at Starbucks or the one that's like very like an acquaintance. An acquaintance is nice every now and then, but a true real friendship, I personally believe that you can only have 5, let's say maximum 10 friends, 10 real friends. And those are actually the friends that would make you or break you.
Mm-hmm. So we define friendship as a certain kind of connection that you have with another person. And friends, to be a true friend, to answer your question, you gotta be in a relationship with someone who makes you feel heard, understood, who takes you as you are without any judgment, and as George mentioned, who's there to support your growth and not hinder it. This is how you can understand that the person that you're with is a true friend. Another indicator is that you got to make sure that you're not obliged. You don't feel obliged to see that person. It's not a social obligation. You feel excited to see that person. You look up to them and you feel warmth and happiness whenever you see them. So this is a true friend. And what do they do? What do they not do? They definitely support you in every single decision. It's a friend's duty to tell you if they think you're doing something against your growth. They do not judge. They tell you, listen, I care about you, and this is why I think what you're doing is not in your highest interest. It's a duty of a friend to actually be honest when they think that you're doing something that doesn't benefit you.
And that's what
So friends are
differentiates.
honest.
Yeah, honesty is a very, very, very important thing, because very few people are actually honest. Maybe because of culture, because of society, the way we've been brought up and everything. But honesty is really one of the key characteristics that sets friends apart, because they will call you on your bullshit. Sorry for the word, but whenever you're like shaky, not going the right way, whenever you're doing something bad, they will call you on it. They will tell you, look, listen, there's something that you're not doing right. You need to change, or whatever the scenario is.
Yeah.
Okay. Our next question is, do you think ego can ruin a friendship and lack of forgiveness also?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Ego is something that...
What is ego?
What is ego?
Define ego.
Ego is actually all about me. It's me, 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 me. We forget about the world. We forget about our friends. We forget about our family. We forget about every single human being on earth. Whatever we want, we're trying to get it. Whether it's in business, in friendships, and it's in the friendship example, for example, a friendship based on ego, or someone that has a lot of ego in the friendship, would always want to receive. Like, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. Give me advice, give me gifts, give me everything. I don't want to give you...
That's human nature, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
So a person coming from a place of ego is someone who's not really connected to the unity aspect of the creation in general. Because, you know, we all believe that we're united, we're one, and we come from the infinite source of being, from God, from the creator, however you want to put it. And whenever you come from a place of ego, you're disconnected from that ideology and you're only thinking about the self. So following that definition of the ego, yes, definitely an ego can stand in the way of having a true friendship. And it is our responsibility as friends to make sure that we are equally giving and receiving in a friendship or in any kind of relationship in order to maintain its balance and its health. Because there are healthy friendships or unhealthy friendships, right? And before I give you the floor, forgiveness. We all got to forgive. Yes, people hurt us. People sometimes hurt us intentionally or unintentionally, but it is up to try as much as we can to understand them and forgive them, even if the hurt, especially actually, if the hurt came from a place of lack from their end. You know, we got to forgive for our own sake. We don't necessarily have to remain friends with someone who really, really hurt us, but we have to forgive for our own sake and try to understand as much as we can where they came from, even if we don't agree with it.
Yeah, so I wanted to point out something when it comes to ego and friendship that's very interesting. Sometimes situations in life happens. Let's say, for example, two friends are working in a company. Let's say, this is just an example, like many others. And there's, at a certain point, a promotion that's to be offered. And here's where ego gets in the way. Should I take the promotion or should I give it to my friend? Who's going to win? And here's where you need to discuss it together and put ego aside and see who will this promotion help most?
Mm-hmm.
Who will this, like, if, for example, this is my career path, then I'll take it. Or if it's my friend's career path, I'll share it with them. If the potential for growth is bigger for the friend, then always put the friendship above ego.
Yeah, social psychologists actually define friendship as someone you're able to put above you. Not above you, but before you, before yourself. So you love them so much, you appreciate them so much, the connection between you is very, very strong that you're able to remove this ego and to really see their worth. And if, like George is saying, if they deserve that position in the work example, you're able to freely and open-heartedly and with love say, you know what, you deserve this, or this is in alignment with your path more than it is with mine. I'm very happy for you.
And you know what this does actually spiritually? Spiritually, by putting someone else first, someone else's needs before your own, since your connection is actually not with the friend. So what we all receive is not from other people, but through them, from God, from the source, from the universe, from the light, whoever you believe in.
You open the gate of blessings.
Exactly. So whatever you are giving to someone else, you're receiving at least tenfold. So maybe, just maybe in this example, by giving your friend the opportunity to get promoted
And being selfless.
Exactly. You would maybe receive a promotion somewhere else or in another company, or maybe you will have another opportunity that's even better than this one. So, yeah.
And even you get better relationship with a better woman.
Exactly.
I mean, with more rich woman and more beautiful. And
that as well.
Valentine.
Cooking better.
Okay.
The next question is very, very interesting. Do you think a friendship between a man and woman can exist without having any sex?
Go ahead.
Okay, so here the answer is it depends. It's all about the gray dance. So you see, it depends on how much key values the man and the woman have in common. How many hobbies, how strong is their bond. So, and this in normal times all is well. But when delicate or sensitive times or times of hardship come in, this is where the friendship will be tested. And here's why. Whether they're in a relationship or not, if they have a lot of things in common, if they have a lot of hobbies, a lot of key values, etc.
They understand each other well and hear each other out.
Exactly. They will develop a very strong bond. And so they will develop very strong emotions or strong feelings towards each other. So what this will lead to, if they are in the same energy level, so if they're masculine or feminine, then all is fine. But what happens is when there's a problem or hardship and they are there for each other, automatically what will happen is that one of the partners will go to the masculine and the other will stay feminine. What will this do? Create more and more sparks, deepen the intimacy, increase the connection. So it's all a matter of, it depends. It depends because if you don't have a lot in common, if you don't see each other a lot and everything, then it's all okay.
Does it depend on the boundaries as well that you set at the beginning of the relationship?
It does depend, but to a certain extent, because when it comes to feelings, sometimes when they become intense, we as humans tend to go beyond the boundaries, especially in this case. Because, you can, for example, be having a drink, sometimes like, oh, I'm having a bad day, blah, blah, blah. One drink after another, and whoopsie. So, yeah.
Okay, thanks God with me never happened.
Think so?
I hope so.
It didn't happen with them.
So, the next question, what we have
also,
today.
one thing as well, before we move on to the next question. So it depends also if you're in a relationship or not. If you're in a strong relationship, then this will help a lot. Because if you're in a strong relationship and you don't see anyone else in the sense that you're really connected to your own partner, then it's okay, as long as you set boundaries. Because here's where, for example, taking the problem of you being down at a certain point. When you're in a healthy and happy relationship, you tend to go towards your spouse, your partner. But if the partner is not there, you can go to your friend. But if your relationship with your partner is not well, so what will happen, you would go towards your friend, and this is the danger.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the danger might lie in.
My love, don't make a man friend.
Oh, you have to be nice with me all the time.
Yes. The next question is
What to do when your best friend dumped you and you never understand why he or she did it to you?
All kinds of friendships, all relationships actually, serve a purpose. Whether it's a friendship that you've had for 10 years, a relationship that you had for 20 years, somebody you were friends with for a month, somebody you connected with for one day. Every single relationship serves its purpose. So when it's done, it served its purpose. Now the question is, if you feel like you need closure, like you really want to understand why, and you're struggling with this loss of a friend, you cannot get over it. You need to understand why you stopped talking to me. What did I do? In this case, you can always reach out to the person. What they say, honesty is the best key, right? You can always be like, hey, I understand that we had this connection. I understand we've been friends for a while. I understand people can drift apart, and that's completely normal. People grow and change, and their ideologies, their energies and vibrations grow and change, and this is normal. But I want to know for my own peace of mind, I really want to understand if there's something I did wrong or what really happened behind the scenes for you to just walk away or dump me. So if you feel that you need this kind of explanation, I think it's very, very normal to just reach out to the person and be vulnerable and be like, hey, I just want to talk about it. We don't have to be friends again, but you can, talk about it.
I had a
And if
situation,
sometimes-
I tried to talk many times, tried to talk on the phone, messages, nothing, didn't work.
Let it go. Let it go.
This
Yeah,
one
so-
I did, but was my best friend, so I took it very
Yes. Let it go.
Sometimes it's not easy. So because of all the years you've spent together, the emotional bonds, the high, the lows that you spent literally together. So I don't know how much, Krasimir, you spent with your best friend. Like, do you mind sharing with us?
Mhm.
Was it like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Approximately.
It's like 17, 18 years together.
Okay, so this is a lot of years. It's like
Yeah, you have
almost
a bond already.
Yeah, so it's like almost a quarter of a century, almost 25 years. So it's really something huge. So it's never easy. At the same time, I'm not very familiar with the situation, but in general, like Pat was saying, we humans tend to outgrow and move forward.
Or maybe he had a different reason, but he just wasn't willing to share it with you.
Yeah, so if they have secrets, for example, and they're not willing to share for some reason, what you can do is write a letter. So in your case, you send a message. So what you can do is, this is what psychologists usually say or recommend.
Mm-hmm.
You can write a letter, express everything you want to express in
Imagine
this letter.
that the person is standing right in front of you.
Exactly. And just speak your heart to them. Write every single detail, everything, and then burn the letter.
Yeah.
And as a sign of letting go. And in the end, it's all about realizing that, you know what? It's really nice. We had our moments, but it's time to move forward, because if you don't move forward, you will not allow space
for new friendships.
Exactly.
So in your case, you tried reaching out to the person. And so what happened? Here's where you assist. Okay, I am giving more. I'm not getting any response in return. I tried again. I have nothing. I tried again. I have nothing. So you got to pause for a second and realize that you're the one putting in effort without getting the effort back in return. So it's a clear sign that you've done what you had to do. You're at peace. Let it go.
But
it served its purpose.
For example, if she come back to me, and if I forgive, and if do you think he will dump me again?
Okay, so before, one thing about friendships is that if they were a certain way at a certain time, it doesn't mean that they should always stay that way. For example, a very basic example, let's say you were best friends in high school and you saw each other every single day. This was the dynamic of your friendship. When you move on to college, you have less time to spend with each other, so you see them once a week. You still have the connection, you still have the bond, but the dynamic has changed because you're spending less time with them. Later on, you start a job, you have a relationship, you have more responsibilities, so you see them less and less, but that does not mean that the connection is being affected. And so when we have old friends that make their way back into our lives for whatever reason, it does not mean that we have to maintain the same dynamic. And there are different levels to a friendship, There are friendships where you open your heart fully, openly and completely, without holding anything back, where you're 100% vulnerable, where you say everything that's on your mind, when they know your darkest secrets. And there are relationships where you diminish what you say, but they're still friendships, you know what I mean? And so if that person comes back into your life, you got to know that it's for a reason. And it's up to you if you want to let them in, same way you did before. We're not saying to stay on your guard, but it's okay for a relationship dynamic to change. Maybe you want to try seeing them, let's say, once a month, or having a different kind of dynamic.
So what I would say if they come back is to start, the first thing would be to have a clear chat, especially in your case. So if it was emotional and they just left out of the blue, if they decide to come back, it's important to have a clear conversation, really understand why they left, why they came back, what they have been doing all this time, set clear boundaries, like, you know what, fine, you want to be friends again, there's no problem, but those are my conditions. And if not, well, at the same time, you cannot force them, or you cannot be sure that they will never do the same thing again. But you can, by setting boundaries, you can do that so setting boundaries help a lot because you won't open up directly in your case. And it's important also to know why, from your perspective, why you think they came back. So is it because they have grown like you have grown, and so now you're back to the same vibrational level, this is why they're back? Or is it maybe because you went a little bit backwards, so you reached out to their own level again?
If they come back because they need something from you, it's not a friendship.
Exactly. And so they, in a way, as sad or as blunt as it is, they need to prove themselves again. They need to regain your friendship. They need to give a lot before you can start being quote unquote equal terms, because they have hurt you, because they have left out of the blue.
Okay.
But anyway, you need to heal this relationship, because even if it doesn't come back in your life, some
Yes.
other people will come in your life and act the same way, right?
Thank you. Very,
Yes.
very true. Very, very
100%.
true.
That's why I love her. The next question is very important. And
All
it's,
questions are important.
can you have a business with your best friend? And as we know, if everything goes perfect, the money comes, all of us, we're going to be happy, we're going to buy new cars, we're going to buy apartments, houses, blah, blah. But,
Why not jets?
yes,
Private jets is good also.
you know, the life is like up and down, up and down. So what comes when it's down? What do you think? I tried to work with the friends. Honestly, with me, it didn't work.
So again, in general, in theory, it's a double-edged sword. The stronger your bond, the stronger your friendship, the more extreme it can go.
Yeah, I think the answer to that is initially how healthy or unhealthy your friendship is before you decide to take a business. If you are together through thick and thin, you know, if you always support each other when times are rough, and if you always celebrate your happinesses and your happiness and your achievements, you know, you already have a strong friendship. You already have a true friendship. And so venturing into a business together actually has more strengths, you know, gives you more strength and more advantage over venturing into a business with somebody who's not your friend prior to that. But if your friend, or if the relationship you have with a friend is that of lack of honesty, you know, you're not always fully transparent, you care about yourself more, but you care more than about what you care when it comes to your friend or your dynamic. If you take this energy and apply it into business, this is exactly what you're going to get. So I think this is where.
So this is where actually boundaries are important. Again, boundaries is very crucial in any type of relationship. So once you set the boundaries at the beginning of this business venture, and you say you are very clear on the values, the mission of the company, the purpose, on where each one of you stands, how you can help each other in good times, what you do in bad times, what you do. So you set a sort of rules, guidelines, and everything.
And sometimes they're unspoken; they just develop throughout your friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to say something I forgot. But I think one thing to keep in mind is like a business relationship is different than a friendship. So this is where it becomes a little bit difficult, because those two tend to intertwine, you know. In business settings, you tend to become more friends, and you tend to forget that you're actually running a business together. And this is where the unspoken boundaries have to come in. In business, we are business partners. Yes, we are friends, but we are business partners, you know. And maintain the friendship in its.
You know, happened with me when I was young. But when I was young, I had a friend of mine. We had a business with him. Actually, it's like he was the boss. I had a percentage of all this, and was going well. Was going really well, and we separate the things. And we feel very good about this. Also, I had the tennis coach, which I wanted to kill him on the tennis court. He was swearing to me. He was everything, and I wanted to scream and to say, "F you," you know, and just to leave. We finished the coaching session. He hugged me. He said, "Now we go for a coffee," and everything finished. When we go out of the tennis court, we leave these guys behind, and we become friends again. So I can't separate the things.
Yeah. I experience the same thing when I teach fitness classes sometimes. Like,
Yes.
people don't like me when I'm giving classes and when I'm yelling at them, like, oh, you gotta do this, but afterwards, oh.
I would definitely
things
not
start
like
to-
you. I'm telling you from
Yeah,
now.
that's okay. I heard that before.
I would like you the first 15 seconds. Okay?
Maybe even not.
We're going to have a look
Yes.
to see about this.
Okay. Now it's the next one.
When my friend experiencing a challenging situation, how best can I support him or her? Do I have to go down with this person so I can, like, kind of connect with this person? Or do I have to keep some distance so I can help her or help him to move?
For
forward?
example, some friends experience losses in his or her life. Should I go on his energy or her energy down and to feel sorry or to go there, or to try to not kind of motivate him, but to tell him or to tell her, listen, I've been there too, but not to feel sorry for him, not to be down, as Clementine said, just to try to motivate him, just to be with him, to say, man, you need to stand up. This is a life, What do
There
you
are
think?
two things. So the first thing, in this case, for example,
I
the
noticed
first
for
thing-
George there are always two things.
well, usually I
It
talk
always
about you.
depends.
Well, it's about the great dance, dancing between two things.
Yes.
So what was I going to say? Yeah. So
Two
for
things.
example, yeah. So for
The two
example,
things.
so if there's a death or something like this, a loss or something like that, the first thing is important to create some space for them, to be there for them, to support them in whatever way we can, but not let it overwhelm you, in the sense that you can give them time and space and be there for them as much as you want. Don't motivate them at first, just be there. So maybe in the case of a death, for example, for the first 40 days or 100 days or so, just be there for them.
And I think people grieve differently. Like, some people need physical support. I need somebody by my side to be there to hug me. Some people need distance. I, for example, need space before I can let someone in. So it depends on the person that you're trying to support, but definitely be there for them. And I think the challenge here is to be there for them in the way that they want to feel support.
Exactly.
If they need someone to talk to, and it's a very difficult moment, you have to understand that you got to be there for them to talk to you, because it's part of friendship. As a friend, we have, again, an unspoken duty of supporting one another, of being there for one another, in good times and in bad times.
Especially in bad times.
Exactly, especially in bad times.
Because everybody can be all rosy and nice and dandy when things are great.
Mhm.
But it's when things that are actually challenging that you actually know who your real
Yeah.
friends are.
And supporting them does not necessarily mean going down with them. It's just letting them know that they have someone they can rely on. You want to talk? I'm here to talk. You want to go out for a coffee? I'm here. You want to cry? I'll be here to hug you. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you have to sink down with them. And when you feel that you're sinking down, this is where you say, okay, you know what? I'm going home.
And it's important at a certain moment to start motivating them. So while at first you're there to help them grieve or pass through the loss or the process,
Because it's a natural process.
it's natural and it's important, because if they repress it, then it's going to backfire some way else in a distant future or in a short-term future. So once you help them go through this process, then you have to set boundaries if they're not willing to rise up again.
Yeah.
So if, let's say, after 100, 200 days, whichever time that pass, if they're still wallowing on their loss,
And if you feel like they have more potential and they're just not getting there because of that grief, here's where, like Rasna was saying, it's up to us as friends to motivate them, to let them know what we think, to give them another solution, to help them rise on their feet again. So friendships are all about support. What's thing number 2, by the way?
that was it. It
That
was
was
about
it.
like
Yes,
first you
but-
accept their feelings and then
Thank
you bring them up. So first you accept their feeling, you're there for them, and the second thing is once the person they're okay, not saying they're good, they're okay to move forward with life, then you start motivating them, and you know what, let's move it, let's go do sports, let's go out, let's do this, what about your business, let's move ahead.
And then that applies to any sort of healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Being there for someone.
I don't know if you noticed, but you know, when two people, they are together, man and woman, man and man, or woman and woman, no matter, they have, for example, the friend of one become the friend, for example, my friend become friend of Clementine. But one day, this couple, they get separated, and their friends, they don't want to see the other person of this relation. And it's very funny because before they were laughing, they were together, they were sharing so many things. Now the people they share, and these people, the friend of the, I'm sorry, they are not their friends anymore, you know? And it's funny.
Ego.
Why?
Ego. Remember we talked about ego? This
Yeah.
is it?
It's either ego, or this is thing number one, or thing number two, it could be that it wasn't a friendship in the first place. It was more of an obligation.
Yeah.
When you feel obliged to hang out with someone. So it's masked as a friendship, but deep down you feel like you're obliged to because that person's just there.
Exactly. And it's ego in the sense that, well, okay, they're partnering with your ex-partner or whatever, but at the same time, they don't need to take sides because this is what ego does. It separates. Instead of uniting, it separates. And it's not about disrespecting your ex-partner or anything. They can still be neutral when it comes to the problem at hand. But they can still be friends with both if there's a real friendship.
Yeah, and another possibility might be that they want to remain friends, but they're afraid of hurting the other person. Afraid of, maybe if they spoke up and be like, hey, like, we're really friends, don't take it personally, I don't mean to take sides or anything, that if someone speaks up and is honest about it, then I think that can be resolved.
Exactly.
But if they're holding back, then even if they wanted to be friends, they won't be.
Here's where growth and fixed mindset come in. So it's always good to have a growth mindset and accept change and be willing to move forward and grow, even if it's each in their separate way, but at the same time for this friend to be friends for both couples, or both partners or ex-partners.
We have a question from Rosisa Parmakova, and this is, do we have a good lies in relationships?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the...
Maybe is it okay to lie in a relationship for the sake of
the
can
you please clarify?
Yes, exactly. It's like, sometimes you say a good lie just to save the suffering and or to stop this person to do something which you think is going to be bad or something.
The strength of a relationship is honesty. Whether friendship or relationship. Once we start lying, we're planting the seed for lying, and it can go, like, it starts with, oh, okay, you know what? I'm not going to tell her or him this thing. It's okay.
And you got to understand why you're lying. Why are you lying? Is it because you're afraid the other person will not understand you? You're afraid that you will hurt their feelings by saying the truth? Why are you lying? What is the intention behind it? And what will happen if you tell them the truth? Because the pillars of a strong relationship are not only honesty, it's no judgment. It's when you accept the other person. Why are you friends if you don't accept the other person, if the other person doesn't accept you for who you are, right? So why are you lying?
And also there's, I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So if it's about pushing the other person forward, I'm not sure I understood the question correctly, but if it's about pushing the other person forward, which is what a friendship is, I don't think there should be any lies involved whatsoever.
Yes, and I just remembered and forgot.
Not meant to be.
Okay, well, let's drop it then.
Yeah, so I think it's, go ahead, Chris.
Okay, the next question is...
Oh,
if we didn't answer, okay.
Yes, go on. I hide the question.
Okay, so if, for example, in this case, in the relationship, so the one of the partners lies because they're afraid of hurting the other partner because they believe that they are not able to handle the emotion or the problem, then their bond is not strong. Then they need to work on their bond, they need to work on their relationship and strengthen it, because the closer you are, the more you share things together, the stronger your bond is. And it's, if your partner understands and know that you are there for them, so you're not saying...
Just like a relationship, by the way.
Yeah.
Just like a relationship.
So you're not saying things to hurt them, you're saying this to help them, even if in the short term it does hurt them. So for example, if someone I don't know, did something bad but you don't want to tell them because they're going to be hurt, tell them so that they don't repeat it in the future, or tell them so that it's really important not to lie.
Yeah,
basically.
and we all make mistakes. So if if we did something bad and we're unable to confront our friend about it, this is again a test. Listen, I did something bad. We have a connection that's strong enough and stable enough for me to tell you that I did something bad, and hope that you understand.
I was watching 2 days ago a short video from, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Tom Bilieu and Lisa Bilieu. They're really good, Impact Theory. So if you don't know them, I encourage you to follow them. And they were talking basically something around those lines. And they were saying that for years, like when they first started their relationship, Lisa was more of a housewife. She was more at home. She was always cooking for Tom and taking care of him and everything. But as years went by, she started feeling trapped, and she actually wanted to change and start her own business and do something else. But at the same time, she was afraid of confronting Tom and telling him, like, you know what? She was like in this dilemma, like, should I tell him or not? But at the same time, if I tell him,
years.
Exactly. And at the same time, so
if she tells him, she was afraid that she's breaking an unspoken agreement.
Exactly. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so that I stay home with the kids and you go to work. And so after years, she actually confronted him, right? And he fully accepted her. He's
exactly.
like, I care about your happiness so much. It's okay.
So I care about your happiness more than I care about you cooking to me, because I can hire a cook or whatever the scenario is.
In
so
this example, yeah, pretty much applies to everything.
And so she was bottling up a lot of, you can consider it lies or unexpressed feelings or thoughts, and it bottled up, and in the end, it was for nothing because she was just there accepting her. There goes my phone.
We have one more question. Melo, can you read it with your French sweet accent, please?
If you and your friend have too strong character and you fight because of something stupid and you are too stubborn to make up and to recognize that you did a mistake and you feel sorry that you are not speaking with each other, what can you do, especially if you're relative with that person?
So I will start by saying, I'm assuming that both of you are in your masculine energies. I'm assuming. It might not be the case.
Because you said you're strong.
Yes, because you said the strong character, meaning always like being in this confrontational energy or confrontational dynamic. Mm-hmm. And honestly, all fights are stupid. All fights are stupid. But we don't fight about the fight. We don't fight about the things. We fight about the lack of connection. We fight about we're missing being heard. We're missing being loved. We don't feel loved. We don't feel connected. This is what's missing. Yeah. And this is the seed of all the fights and all the stupid things in the world.
And you said it yourself. You're saying that you're stubborn to make up and recognize you did a mistake. And we just spoke about that earlier and we labeled it as ego, right? So when we look at the bigger picture and you really care about the other person, it's always good to be vulnerable and to apologize. We're all human. We all make mistakes. I think I say this a lot. We're all human, because it's true. Nobody's perfect. No relationship is perfect. And would you rather not speak to each other? You're losing a connection. If that person really means to you, you got to assess the situation that you're in. Is it worth it? Is this fight worth the separation? Is me being hard-headed and stubborn and not willing to, apologize or be like, let's put this behind us. I care about you, you care about me, we have a strong connection. Is it worth it? Because if that person matters to you, you got to apologize. Whatever the fight was about.
Yeah.
And I would, during the fight or during this scenario, what you can do is actually, the first thing would be to connect with God, with the light, with unconditional love. Send the person you're fighting with unconditional love. It can be counterintuitive or like you believe, no, I don't want to send love to this person. They're hurting me.
It's difficult in the moment of anger.
Exactly. This is where you are actually rising above the ego. You are having a growth mindset. You are being more mature. You are saying, you know what? They have a lack somewhere. So let me fill their lack. Let me help them so that then they can help me, because it goes back and forth. And so the first thing would be to send them unconditional love. The second thing would be to restrict, like to take a pause, take a moment to breathe, take a deep breath, and then like center yourself, and then you can talk to them better. Also, if it's a relative, what you can do is hug each other. even though your whole body and soul and mind will resist it, just hug it out for 20 seconds. You will start releasing oxytocin, and this will automatically help your body de-stress, help your energetic level de-stress, see the person in a much better light, in an easier way. And then from this point of you're more now centered, you're more loving, you're created a space of love. This is where you can actually come from a neutral place and then solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I would say.
Yeah, thank you. That's amazing.
And thank you. And for this would solve the short term. Now, for the a bit longer term, what I would say as well is when we're fighting, it's because one or both of us have our needs that are not met. So let's try to discuss about it. What need do you have that is not met? How can I help you?
Especially if the fight is recurrent.
Exactly.
If it's something you always fight about, or if it's a pattern, then you know that there's.
So you need to fix it, or else, like Clementine was saying, it's going to surface again and again, whether with the same relative or with someone else at work or a friend or whichever. I hope it answers.
Thank you. We have another 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
And we encourage the people which they're watching, if they have a question, just to ask the questions.
We're nice, I promise.
So in a community as Global Morning Community, how can we create strong peer group and powerful team that grow together?
What brings a community together? I think this is the first question. Why are you in a community? I think the answer to any question starts from reflecting and assessing the situation and going inwards. So first things first, why are you in a community? What common values do you share?
Exactly. So the first thing to realize, and like Pat is saying, is about realizing what values you have in common, what objectives you have in common, what is your common goal. Like, for example, you're joining this community because you have this common goal. You want to achieve this particular thing. So you look at this objective that you want to achieve, and you look at the values that you have, and the hobbies you have in common, and the activities and everything. And this is where you start helping each other to reach this goal. So, for example, let's say my goal is to improve in personal development, like in GMC. So one of the reasons I'm joining is for personal development, for growth, for that. So I have a common goal with Pat, let's say. And so this is one of the reasons why we both joined. We have a lot of common values. We have common hobbies. So we actually empower ourselves to actually grow together. The more values we have in common, the more missions we have in common, the more hobbies and activities and mindset we have in common, the more bond we can create. The more bond we can create, the stronger the group will become. The stronger the group will become, the more we can achieve and go forward and forward and forward. I would also add that, I forgot what I was going to add. Thank you. So it's very important to start mentoring each other. It's sort of like a mastermind group or something where instead of relying on a leader, a boss, that
unofficially mentoring.
Exactly. So it's not, instead of someone coming from above, because this is like, it's like in a company, a boss would say, do this, do this, do that. They would do it because they are quote unquote forced to or asked to, obliged to. But if it comes from within, if this is the difference between outside and inside motivation. So when it comes from within, because you know that you have this same common goal, you know that you have those values in common, you know that you have those activities you want to do together. So team up, help each other out, be vulnerable with each other, help each other grow, push each other's button to grow further, deeper, stronger. And this can all be done through mentoring. And some people might ask, but why mentoring? Mentoring, you don't need to have like 100 or 50 years of experience in a field. Anyone can mentor. It's all about life experiences.
Or something, you're particularly good at.
Exactly. So someone that's like 15 years old that passed through something can teach someone who's like 90 years old, and vice versa. They can all teach each other something. And this is how you can grow stronger, more powerful. It's all coming from within.
I agree.
So it starts with the mindset. Once we work on our own mindset from inside, this is when things start.
And going back to the seed being what is at the core of this community or any community. What is the glue that brings you together?
So if you want to grow, join our Global Morning Community number 3, starting soon.
You know what? I'm grateful for the Global Morning community. I'm grateful because about the accountability partners, and my wife, because she's a genius, she said, why you don't call Steve Church? It's amazing friend. And she told me, why you don't call him and to make him accountability partner about the diet, about the fitness, about the trainings. And I said, yes. I text him, he said, I'm with you. So I have different accountability partners, and this really helps me a lot in different areas. And my love.
Yes, we have a last question. And as we know, in the next morning community, we will be focused also on business, entrepreneurship, and you also coach like for relationship, but also you also coach in business for relationship is business. So we wanted to ask a last question also more related to this field. So the question is, should I be friend with my clients? What kind of relationship should I have with my client? How can I be close to them, but in the same time keep my expertise, authority, and not fall into like familiarity with my clients?
I think to answer that, we're going to go back to Krasimir's tennis coach example, that they had a friendship, but in the tennis court, there was a giver and the receiver. There was a coach and the coachee. Outside, there were buddies having coffee. So some relationships with clients develop further to become friendships, and others don't, and that's completely okay. They stay on a very professional basis. But if they do develop into friendship, it's important to leave the dynamic as it originally was, meaning that in the office, wherever you guys have your businessy ventures, that should always remain the business dynamic of the relationship. Outside, it can be the friendship. It's the intertwining of the two that becomes problematic.
It's very important it's actually a really good thing if you can be friends with your clients, because it shows that you have a lot in common. It helps, especially, for example, in the field of personal development, to bond stronger with your clients. But it also, like Pat is saying, it has a double-edged sword. This is where boundaries come in. This is where the tennis coach tells Krasimir, look, Krasimir, now we're hitting the ball. Later, we'll have fun.
Yeah, because if the tennis coach, I'm going to use this example, if the tennis coach at one point is too friendly with Krasimir, you know what, yeah, it's okay, you don't want to do that extra push-up, that's okay, it's all right.
And
yeah,
that's a bad friend, by the way. That's
then,
a very bad friend if he does that.
Well, if he's too tired, that's okay. But if the coach knows that he can do this extra push-up, you got to sweat it out. No, I'm going to be there and, do whatever it takes to get you through that push-up. Even if you hate me on the spot. Right now, I'm your coach, I'm not your friend. Honestly, that's the way it is.
Did you see the tiger in her eyes?
Oh, shit, I did it again.
I just saw you in the gym. My goodness.
Yeah, so this is, I think, what we have to say.
Okay, Pat, with you, we're going to be live on Thursday, and we're going to talk about the nutrition. Can you tell me why the nutritions, all nutritions and all the exercises, they are important in our life?
Yeah, of course, because we're here with one body, right? And our body is our vehicle. This is where our soul settles. We cannot change bodies. We can change friends, we can change relationships, we can change environments, we can change mindsets, but we can never change the body. I can't be like, hey, I'm sick and tired of you. Can I have another one, please? No, I only have one for my entire lifetime, and I got to take care of it, whatever that means to me. And taking care of the body is very, very subjective. How I take care of my body and my food is different than how George takes care of his body. What something I do that feels good to me, that makes me feel healthy, feel light, is not necessarily something that makes George or anybody else, feels light and healthy. And if we don't take care of our bodies, honestly, nobody will. And it's very, there's a saying, I don't know who said that, but I really love it. What comes into your mouth is equally as important as what comes out of your mouth. Meaning that it's very important. What comes into your mouth in terms of food, in terms of nutrition is very important. But what comes out of your mouth in terms of words, I know they're a little unrelated, is very important, because words cannot be taken back. And whatever food that you inject into your body cannot be taken back. So it's going to have a certain effect on you. You're going to say something. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm excited what you're gonna say on Thursday. Yes, Thursday. But okay, before to finish, we would like to say to the people that next morning community, we're gonna post the link, and in case you want to check, you want to join, don't hesitate. Honestly, it's a great opportunity. All the money they go for fundraising for the children in orphanage, and all the coaches from different places around the world, they're here to contribute.
And it
40
builds
days.
discipline.
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
40 days. We make it like basically it's 70 cents per day, 75 cents a day. It's
Less than a
pretty
Starbucks
nothing.
coffee. Less than a Starbucks coffee. Think about it.
No, I don't go there. It's too expensive.
He doesn't drink coffee, so this is what
Yeah.
you're saying. It's like $5, man.
No. When I see Starbucks coffee, I imagine €5 out of my pocket. Sorry, I'm not stingy, but I prefer Nero. Nero, if you hear me, give me free coffee. Anyway, before to finish, we would like to put our video for the next Global Money Community, and to wish you amazing week. But anyway, we're going to see you tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to have a Barbara, and we're going to talk about courage.
Courage.
Alors, can you say in French?
Courage.
Hey, courage.
You can say it in French too. I can try. Courage.
Okay,
Not bad.
Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for joining.
Have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Thank you.
F.R.I.E.N.D.S.